Okay. All right. So yeah, I just had to do some quick check, and I'm seeing that we are live on Facebook, we're live on LinkedIn, and we're also live on YouTube. So once again, good evening, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning from wherever you're joining us from, and welcome to another episode of an Hour with a Manager live podcast. As usual, I'm your host, Subal Matthew, and I'm going to be here for as long as possible, by the grace of God. And today, we have a very wonderful guest with us today who is also going to share some very wonderful insight and knowledge for us to also tap out of, in person of Kayode Oguta. Kayode, welcome to an Hour with the Manager today.
Thank you, Yvonne Matthew. Thank you, and thank you for having me. Audience, thank you for making me share in your space and time.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And to everybody who's joining us here for the first time, I also say welcome to an Hour with the Manager. A quick one. That on an Hour with the Manager, we're building a space where professionals, business leaders, and entrepreneurs can come in, connect, collaborate, and share insights together. So when you're here with us, if you have any question, you have any thoughts, you have any concerns, please don't forget to get to my DM or maybe send a comment. At any point in time, we'll always respond to you. Because our business here is for us to make sure that your professional career, your business growth, and whatever you have as an entrepreneur you want to look for is intact for you. We have the right experts to also help connect you and help you move from the where you are to the next level. So once again, welcome to another episode of an Art Manager Life podcast. And today we have a very wonderful discussion, which like I was sharing with our guests backstage before we came live today. We have a lot of people who are saying AI is everywhere. The conversation of AI. Why we're always talking about AI, but we forget that not everybody really understands what AI really is, what is really going on in the technological space, and not everybody's opportunity to work where they can have access to quality informations, right? So that is why we're here to give you access to those informations and also get you prepared for the future, which we are not even aware of. And today we're talking about what skills will still matter in an AI-driven world with our guest here. But before we move forward to that, I know a lot of us are wondering who our guest is, who is Mr. Kayode, and would also want to know about him. But one thing is very interesting. I want you guys to also catch today. So this podcast is very unique. Why it's unique is that we have two podcasters on the show here. That is myself and also Mr. Kayode. Mr. Kayode is the host for I3L podcast. That is like the three L's of leadership, which you can also check up on that. But he's going to share more insight about what he's been doing so far for the past 25 years and still counting. And I'm hoping that every one of us here will also learn and connect with that insight. So yeah, Mr. Kayode, how have you been doing? And please talk to us. How's the journey been like for you for the past 25 years? Being a podcaster, being a consultant, being a father, being a global coach, so please talk to our audience. Let's get to connect with you.
Okay,
Welcome.
so many years ago, I decided to go to school, and I did biochemistry in the university. So when I came out of school, the only place I could work for was a government agency, and the pay was really, really bad. So I decided that I was going to pivot from government agency, and I think one of the next line for me. I went to school. I went back to school. I did my MBA. Then I went into to technology. So from technology, I worked with the top communication firm in Africa, in South Africa, Nigeria. That's the MTN group. I worked for them for a while, and then I got married, and so that's I started that space. After a while, I became bored, like every entrepreneur would be after a couple of time. You understand, and so we decided to start our own consulting firm. Basically, what we do is that we do leadership, we do organizational development and health. You understand? I've come to realize that it's not the best resource organization that actually wins. It's the best aligned organization, the most healthy organization that actually wins. You understand? And
Please, can you come back
So
again with that statement?
I said it's not the best resourced organization that actually wins. It's the best aligned organization that wins. So a
Why
lot
is
of
that
organizations
concept?
have a lot of organizations have great resources, but they're not aligned to their vision, to
Okay,
their purpose, what they're meant to do. And at the end of the
okay,
day, they do not succeed. So I've had to train, and I maybe I never told you that. So I'm also one of Nigeria's first project management professionals. I probably have trained about 2,000 project PMPs in Nigeria. You
wow,
understand? Myself, my friend. So we've done some good work in training, development, and so we entered into coaching, executive coaching, and I just try to train the best out of the best. You understand? So I learned that the best people to coach are not just the ordinary people. The best people to coach are the top performers who want to get better, who want to top their game. You understand? So I partnered with Marshall Goldsmith, and Marshall Goldsmith is probably number one executive coach in the world. You understand? And he only goes for the best. You understand? So I tell people that I will give you the Marshall Goldsmith content at the price of an African entrepreneur. You understand? Same content, same template. We just do it with our own content because I mean we have to really make sure that we bring the Nigerian context into play.
of
So
course.
that's how I mean. So I've written 3 books: Leadership Quagmire. Leadership Quagmire. I spoke about Leadership Quagmire because of the fact that it's my first leadership book, and I wrote it out of a genuine question in my heart that Nigeria
Okay,
has a leadership quagmire issue. You understand?
okay,
And if I when I wrote the book, I started by saying that a quagmire is a difficult decision that people have, and they will never be able to take easy steps. You understand? So take, and I used the example of Prince Charles. He has always been prepared to become the king of England, but to become the
okay.
king of England, who he loves most must die. That is his mom. You understand? You know, I mean, that was the
What year
so it
was
was in a
this?
quagmire.
What year did you write
Eh?
this? What did you author? What did you author the book?
So I authored the book in 20. I think the book came out in 2021. Yeah, 2021. So it's
Okay,
on
okay,
Amazon. The Leadership
all right.
Quagmire. I also wrote the Game Changer. The 7 questions everybody must ask in order to do well. Who
Okay,
are you? Where do you? What am I supposed to do? How can I create value? What does wisdom expect of me? What I mean, I asked all these questions. What's going to be a legacy by the time you finish? These 7 questions that every human being should ask himself that will make an exceptional life. Then I also spoke about the business of leadership, about the business of people, because leadership is about people, the business of
okay,
purpose. If you don't understand your purpose, you understand you never be able to understand what to do in life. The business of profit, you understand, the meaning of purpose, profits, you understand. And those are the things that I spoke about. And I said, you know what? These are the questions that I ask, and if you can answer them, you will do extremely well. So I wrote that out. Then if you notice, I've written a lot in my podcast. AI has also helped me turn a lot of my podcasts into books. That's what we're going to talk about. You understand? I mean,
okay.
I have 37 books in my podcast. You understand? AI has turned into books. I've not just published them. I've published them over time.
Okay. Oh
So they're
man,
already in my manuscript. You understand?
that is an amazing
Totally
portfolio you
finished.
have
You understand? Just to repeat it.
there. That's an amazing portfolio you have there, and I can imagine the journey so far. The challenges, the wins, the breakthroughs, the times when you just had to, go beyond not doing it again, and then you still had to try, just give it one more try, and then finally, you had to break through, and things now look easy, as if it was easy. But we're grateful that you're able to also share this experience with us, and for us to also know that it's very possible for anybody to also get to wherever they want to get to, in as much as they're determined to do it. And yeah, talking about informations and knowledge and insights. Your podcast speaks a lot of that, especially about leadership and how we can help people to move forward. But before we even get into the conversation on AI, just one thing, the conversation on leadership. What is one thing you've really seen that your listeners are always very much concerned about, that pushes you to always share the quality of information you give on your podcast?
So the question I think that many people always try to ask, one question I think that leaders always come is what to do, in the light of the many realities and opportunities that they face. You understand? How do you interpret where you are, especially in the light of where you're going to?
Okay.
So, for instance, let me give you a good example. So, there are times you're okay. Yeah, take for instance now, I was supposed to consult for a company. You understand, one of the Nigerian tech companies, and I could not consult for them because of conflict of interest, and I will explain that to you later. Understand? You
Okay.
know, but they had to ask themselves, what are we going to do? You understand? What should we do? What should we do in the light of the realities in which we're facing? You understand? So many times, it's things that look so simple organizationally becomes extremely difficult. You understand? Because maybe something gave them success and they have to pivot from it. And obviously, and that would be tough, especially when that was like a cash cow.
Which is always
But you
easy.
know that in a couple of years, it will not be easy. So it will not be easy to let go of something that worked in the past, but you know will not be working very soon. You understand? So many times people have that kind of conflict and when to do that. You understand? So that's what I think. Then also the fact that in many organizations, I always tell people, for instance, I used to do, there's something I did on my website. My website is a little down. We're trying to build it up again. I used to tell people that when I do like, for instance, end of year, we're trying to plan the next year. I said, I'll tell you one thing. The information that exists in an organization that will be a blessing to the top leadership. But because of the way it comes or it came, it might not be able to go up. So
Okay.
whereas the solution is in the organization, many times the leadership will never have access to it. So that's why I always think, that's why I told, I say it's not the best resource organization that win or that wins, but that the most aligned organization. So if we have everybody working together in one team, you'll be fine. You understand? In Nigeria, it's a difficult ball game. Nigeria is a difficult. Here in South Africa, you're not in Nigeria, but Nigeria is a difficult thing. Many people think that we have an electricity problem, or we have a power problem, or we have a financial problem. I think we have a people's problem. You understand? And we need to recreate values in organizations. Organizations need to understand why they're existing, why we here, what can we penalize for, what will we not do. And so all those things are very emotional decisions that you would make up your mind from day one to take. And once you make up your mind to do them, you will leave and say, okay, you know what, I would live with the consequence of these decisions and I'll move on. And those things are really, really tough. So at times things look easy to do, but they're extremely tough to be done. And that's one of the things I've learned in leading organizations or in coaching leaders or in talking to leaders or when people talk to you, understand how to figure out what to do, especially in the light of what made them successful and what the future holds. That's why we'll talk about that when we're talking about, I'm sure the questions we get there. How to be aware. Three things in leadership: you have to be aware. You have to be, I don't know if you've used Google Map. Google Map first tell you where are you. You first position where you are before you can tell you where you are going to.
Yeah.
You understand? You have to
Yeah.
be aware of where you are. You understand? Are you in a deep hole? Are you surviving? You understand? You have to
Yeah.
know. There have to be an awareness. That
Yeah.
awareness, you understand? A lot of people don't really have it, and you'll be shocked that people don't have it. Organizations don't have it. So they're not even aware that the game has changed. You understand? They're not aware the game has changed. And by the time they wake up, you understand? Take Nokia. Nokia was even aware that when the smartphone came up,
Things to
they
move
were
up like
aware.
that.
I think just moved up. Boom. And by the time they
Yeah.
woke up from their sleep, the game was over.
Yeah, for real. That's true. And just referencing a little bit, talking about Nigeria, I can really relate with the experience and sort of the situation, because I've also been in that shoes and I've also seen some of these things still play out, and I'm still hoping that that is why we're here, right? We're still hoping that people can understand that sometimes things can go beyond just what you see now, and can also go beyond just having maybe too much skills, saying, oh, I know how to do so many things, like, the kind of mindset we have, that, oh, we have to have so many skills before we can make so much. But we don't sit back again to still ask ourselves, oh, the skill we have, how much have we been able to sell the existing one we have for it to be able to give us what we want and then move forward, because when you're doubling up on one, you can double up on more. But we'll get to talk about that as we keep pushing forward. And
Let me
let's
just
first of all,
let me
okay,
pause you. Do you know
okay,
who are the most unlikely people to succeed?
who,
A multi-talented person
okay, most unlikely person to succeed.
to succeed.
Yes,
A
okay.
multi-talented person. The Russian proverb says, "If you pursue two rabbits, how many will you catch?"
You can't catch any of them.
So many people that have multi-talented potentialities, they never really end up doing very well. A lot of people, actually, they do not know how to focus. That's why I said that
That's
it's not
right.
just the best resource people that wins.
Yeah,
It's
that's true.
not the best resource people that wins. So when you see multi-skilled people, yes, we're going to talk about multi-skilled potentialities in our states. But you've got to understand that life it's warfare. It's tough. You understand? You have to make up your mind about, and that's why I always tell people that the best people have coaches to aid them, to aid them.
Of course,
I
of
think it
course.
was this guy, is it Djokovic, the tennis champion that took
Yeah,
Andrew Murray as a coach.
not really
One,
familiar with the name, but he has a
okay,
coach.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he took Andrew Murray, one of his childhood friend, as a coach recently, and I'm asking myself, someone that's won the of most most championship, most Grand Slam in the world, still needs a coach. You understand? Then you that you're just starting, you don't need a coach, obviously.
and not just needing a coach, being ready to to give in, right? This
Yeah,
thought where we have this laid back thought of, oh, because I have a coach, I have to let the work to the coach to do everything. It means the coach have to direct me to where I need to get to, and I don't have to do so much. But we are going to talk about that in detail when we get into the conversation. But first, let's look at AI itself, and what are the major things that we're looking at for the future, right? What are the skills so far that you think AI is really going to, push away? Let's really look at this, because I know that we have some skills which will go at extinct at some point, because you don't really need to have three, four, five persons. Like, when was that? Okay, I think I went one time to go order for stuff from Spa while we were getting their stuff. I think, is it KFC or so? It was like an automated system, right? And you realize that after like 5-10 minutes, we had a call. A human person called us, oh, like a number, come get your stuff. And I was like, what's even the next 2-3 years, or maybe the next 1 year, you come back and you realize that that number is not a human person that is there, but a machine that is calling on my name or the number for me to go pick my stuff. Because when I made the payment, I didn't pay to a human person, I paid to a system, and then everything is automated, right? So what are those skills that you've seen so far in the future that we are looking out for, that AI is either taking away or going to bring in for others to or move on? But please hold up on that before you respond to that question. Welcome, Olufemi
okay.
and Emmanuel. Good to have you on our podcast. Emmanuel is going to be our podcast. Is going to be our guest next week, Thursday. He has some insights which you also be sharing with us. Please go ahead with your response, please.
Okay, so I don't know where to start from, but let me first say this clearly.
Okay.
Um, I saw a Forbes article that was, I think, January 11, 2024, that
Yeah.
says that 300 million jobs will be lost in the next 10 years because of AI. 300 million jobs
Wow.
will be lost because of AI in the next 10 years. But so I always tell people that AI is a tool or a threat. It's a tool that, if you leverage properly, it will transform the way value is created, value is captured, value is distributed in
Yeah.
organization and life. So there'll be a transformation of how you create value, how you capture value, how you distribute value. You understand?
Yeah.
But if you do not, you understand, AI will be a threat that will terminate your work potentials. So it's either a tool or a threat that will transform or terminate. The choice is absolutely yours to make. You understand? And I want you to be able to think AI in two times. Number one, AI is as disruptive as the internet was disruptive.
Okay.
AI is as disruptive, maybe as electricity disrupted the world, or maybe even
Yeah.
fire, or
Yeah.
cloud technology. It just changed
Yeah.
the
And
entire game.
everybody's thinking,
You
what are they going
understand?
to do?
Yeah. In fact, somebody said to me, said in the first industrial revolution, it's the people that know how to capture electricity, the people that knew how to capture irrigation that won. The second technology revolution, people that knew how to capture what do you call it? The first one was irrigation. The second one was electricity. The third one was information. But this time around, we're talking about the fact that the world has so much altered that what was basis for success in the past has actually changed.
A lot.
So we will not ask ourselves, and we will not ask ourselves that where is it going to? But I want to say something. I also encourage people that whereas AI is disruptive, AI will also create many new jobs.
Of course. Yeah.
So the picture I see is a picture of how the computer came on. You know, when the computer came on, it eliminated the need for the typewriter in the office and the
Yeah.
typist.
Yeah.
But it also created the need for a computer programmer,
Computer
a
operator at
LAN,
least.
what do you call it, a LAN support, you understand,
Yeah.
cyber security. So it would create different opportunities. So that's why I say it's a tool that you can leverage to transform the way value is created, captured, and distributed. Or it will be something like it will be a threat that will terminate your potentials in the office. So as we are, so what would AI do? AI, as maybe now that we have generative AI that's able to
Yeah.
create content, you
Yeah.
understand? You're going to ask yourself that what
And it's still
skills were
getting
necessary.
smarter by the day.
Oh, let me shock you. 90% of the data that this world works on was created in the last 2 years.
Oh,
90%. We're living in a world in which very soon we'll be having embedded intelligence inside human beings. I don't want to go to, I'm also bivocational, but let's not go there. But going to having things are altered, it's going to be altered
a lot.
tremendously.
A lot. A lot.
Yes, and so, and I always thought, now let me say this in a way that our listeners will understand. When Microsoft won the PC game, someone asked Steve Jobs, "What are you going to do?" Steve Jobs said, "I will wait for the next big thing." A smartphone was the next big thing. Apple became a $1 billion company by the smartphone. AI is the next big thing after the arrival. In fact, let me not even say AI. After the arrival of smartphones, I think the cloud computing was the next big thing. But AI is going to disrupt entire industries.
Yeah.
You understand? And it's going to change it and tremendously. So the question now is that how prepared are you for the future? Because those that prepare for the future will be able to win. In leadership, I always tell people that there are three things necessary for your ability to win in leadership: your awareness, your adaptability, and your ability to anticipate where is the game going to be played next. So we understand that the game is going to be played where in an AI world. So you've got to be ready. And before I even answer your question, because I'm going somewhere, let me now answer this question. Let me now say this to you. About about 4 years ago, 4 years ago, are you listening to me? 4 years ago,
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
I was on a train from London to Braintree. So the guy who sat down beside me was reading a newspaper. And obviously, like they do in London, they left the newspaper on the chair and they left. And me, I'm not from the UK, so I saw them and I said, "Let me read." I was in the plane on the train for 1 hour. I saw something there that I've never recovered for. The British Army were looking for young. They said, "Are you 18 and 19? No, 17, 18, and 19. And you're a computer freak. You love to play the computer game. Come, we want to employ you."
Wow.
So I was
For
wondering,
what purpose?
why do you want to employ? For what purpose are you employing? Are you in this is British Army? Say, come, we'll give you a job. We'll give you a job. So when Ukraine was started, I knew why they employed those people. They had anticipated that the next warfare will be drones, and it will be joystick.
And had
Hey,
lots
listen to
of
me.
drones.
Even recently, Elon Musk was saying that they don't need fighter jets any longer. They just do drones. You understand? So that's to tell you that. So you see, so the skills would be entirely different. So in fact, Elon Musk recently, I mean, the 2 or 3 days ago, was saying that they should eliminate fighter drones and take the F-34, F-35, what do you call it, plane in America. It's cost over $1 trillion to build. Someone is saying eliminate it. Why? Because we want to build drones.
And
So
the drones is switching what do you call it, moving from things people just do for fun to also earning something. When you just play game for fun to just cool off, to just maybe clear head of stress and the rest, we see that you can actually play game to to earn a living, play game to move to the next level. You're not just playing game just for the game's sake.
Should I lie to you? I was, there's way they say. One day, my son, we're going out one day, my son was playing. He said, if he wins this game, he will get $100. I said, what? He's 10 years old and was playing an online game. And if he wins, he will get $100. So,
but that's the future, Joe. But
that's the future. So,
yeah, that's the future.
what's going to be the future? What's going to be the future of the world in a world in which artificial intelligence is the number one thing that we're doing? So what do you think is going to be the future of the world? So in the future of the world, the routine and repetitive tasks will be automated. So there are 3 things I think the human being will become more human. The creativity of humanity, the strategic. So I just say 3 things: creativity, anything that deals with creativity, anything that deals with strategy, and anything that deals with human-centric roles. For instance, AI is going to be able to be better in predicting sick illnesses as diagnostics. Are you listening to me? AI might even tell you long before you are sick that, a process of cancerous intervention or transformation started occurring in your body. AI could predict that. You understand?
Yeah.
But AI will not be able to give you that warmth and says, you know what, you can care for your tomorrow. Don't give up. Are you listening to me? So some roles will still, those roles that will be automated, you understand? Those that will deal. In fact, recently I was sharing with, just when I was planning, I was preparing for this what do you call it, this podcast. I asked a friend of mine, I said, do you think programming would survive the AI revolution?
That's a big question.
I mean, just think about it. Have you thought about it? I was like, do you think? I said, because you could. The way the machines are doing, you understand, very soon they'll be able to write the programs better than human beings.
I think they're even building websites already,
Machines are writing codes.
Yeah, already building websites.
They're writing codes. So they can write codes, they can write websites, they can do it better. So the question is, I'm asking myself, I said, all those Python, Java things, because they're getting better, would they take out even the programmers? You understand? Or maybe it will take out the people who are not so good. Like I always tell people, in every industry, there are people making money and there are people losing money. If an industry is growing, you don't need to be very good to make money. But if an industry is matured, you need to be extremely good to make money. You understand? So you have to figure out which industry is growing. And I think that the best way to do is for the world to realize, especially for young people, and that AI would because of storage, because of machine capacity, you understand, AI would transform the world of work. Data will be people that deal with data, advanced analytics will be mighty. You understand? Because AI will have those information, but there'll be the ability to create, to draw insights from those things. In the 2000 which election did first election did what's his name?
Which of the president
Donald
you're talking
Trump
about?
win. Donald
Okay,
Trump. He won.
that's before COVID, isn't it?
No, he won. Is it 2006? I mean, no,
Uh,
2024
year runs very fast.
or 2016. Oh, 2016. He
Yeah,
won
that's
2016.
2016,
There's a
16 or
company called
17.
Cambridge Analytical,
Yeah,
I think, that did
yeah.
the survey for him. You know,
Okay.
you could predict human beings to their. If AI will be able to predict, to tell Uber this you who you are better than you are telling yourself. You understand? Somebody told me recently that in their house in America, AI the company Target sent them what they call it, send them a drug, a medication. You understand? And she
Yeah.
said, well, nobody's pregnant in my house. Why is this medication coming to my house? You understand? Apparently, they've been able to predict through research that the man's daughter was pregnant. You
How
understand?
did they
So,
just find that out?
how did they find out? There are certain things you look for when you're pregnant. So
Okay.
algorithms will determine it. So they follow you around. You understand?
Wow.
So they know that if you get this, if you have this, then you're pregnant.
But you just made mention of a point about the algorithm. I know that is the very different. That's a very different discussion entirely. But I feel like even though AI is still yet to be regulated as per, but the algorithm is sometimes goes beyond how it should. Imagine maybe if you search for stuff on YouTube, or maybe search for something on YouTube where it really is very effective. The algorithm it keeps bringing to you, it brings that information like tens thousands of the information, and you're like, I don't just want to have this information. Why should the algorithm stick to these, and why should it just stick to this space alone? But I just want to drive your attention a little bit back to the 3 points which you had mentioned, right, so that we can be able to capture this insight with our listeners, because you made mention of a very important point talking about human-centric roles, the creativity pattern, strategies which you cannot take away from humans, right? From your own observation, how do you think these three core point these three core space is very important for the world? Because we also have to feel human. AI, you've mentioned it. AI can't think creatively except to give it an instruction, right? AI can't just give you a random strategy except you give it an information, because the strategy to give to you is something have already been existed. Informations have already been stored in there. But if you need something fresh, you have to give it what you want so that it can understand you. But how are these three key skills, let me call it that way, going to really affect the world? Because not everybody who knows technical stuff really has access to really know how to also do the soft skill and move along with business and activities.
If I got you well, I don't know, you understand. But the question I want to say about the fact that, take for instance, in creativity, AI, let's say education, you understand. How would you know if a child is learns by action better than by probably, okay, I don't know how you learn, you understand there. But when I was growing up, I used to read a lot of books. You can see a lot of books behind me. But I've come to realize that I could also learn better by listening to audio podcasts like we are doing. Now, my question now is that shift, you understand, how to make that shift and realize that in a lot of spaces, AI might not be able to do that. Let me give you something. There's a company called OP in Nigeria. OP is doing very well with young people. Hey, listen to me. OP, if I make it so seamless for you to enter into you use your, what do you call that thing now? You use
Your payment gateway,
their
POS, and the rest.
their account numbers. No, their account
Okay,
numbers.
Okay,
So
account numbers. Yeah, just with your phone number, right?
your phone.
Yeah,
You know what it dawned on me? It dawned on me that because your phone number is not your account number, you will not drop your phone number anyhow. Or like before that, you want to drop it anyhow. Before
yeah,
any little you drop your phone, you go about that SIM. But now you are going to be tied to that phone, so you want to keep that phone.
yeah,
You understand? Unlike before, I don't know about you could just change SIMs and maybe I'm
yeah.
tired of blue. Let me just change to Airtel.
Just need a new
But now you
line.
not do that again because that line is tied to money. And you know when money speaks, is attentive.
Yeah,
Now, if anybody's paying attention, how can you creatively link people from their account number and their bank and make them always come to you that you can sell to them? So I think that if they capture a lot of the market, I was telling somebody recently, I said, nothing stops them from becoming a competitor to the other companies. I said the telecom companies. Just because people are tied to their numbers, they will not give it out. And their number is tied to their bank account. They will not move it to other places.
that's data in one
Okay.
spot.
Now, that's data in sports. That's how creative. That's how people will think creative. They're saying, let me get the value out of things. How do you go to so people sit down and think about it. People sit down and think about it. So I'm just giving you an example. I mean, nobody's paid me for this. You understand? I'm just giving you this example. But
Yeah.
I should not.
Ope should pay for this.
Okay, can you decide to even pay for this?
I
You
should give
understand?
them this strategy.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Because people
Yeah,
are tied to it, and to
yeah,
change will be difficult for people. You understand? And
yeah,
they will love them. So how would they
yeah,
want to? So what do you do? I mean, they call something cross sell. You understand? When you sell one thing, you can sell other things to them. You can lock them
yeah,
into the market. You sell different
yeah,
things to them and tell them that you know what. Since I'm selling you, I have your money here. I can do streaming for you
yeah.
and the streaming. And by the time you know it,
Mm,
so creativity. So creativity would allow you to turn your resources into resourcefulness and make you win in the game of life.
okay. Mm,
Creativity will turn your resources into resourcefulness so that you can win the game of life. So that resources must be resourceful to you, and it's creativity. Somebody said creativity is adding two different things together and making a third and making something new. AI will not be able to do that, but human beings will do that, and that's how we've captured the land, we've captured the sea, we've captured the air, we've captured the moon, and probably are going to Mars. You understand? Because we are creative. You understand? So I'm just
wow.
telling you different things. So organizations will have to start thinking, how do we win this game? How do we win this game? You understand? And that tells me one thing, that there'll be a lot of creative thinking around. You understand?
Yeah.
If you are doing a job that is just automated, no thinking, AI will take you out.
Okay. Thank you for that insight. And I don't know how because stressing about the conversation on how AI is going to take our job and how we should think creatively and being good strategists is something that all business leaders should be able to enroll their employees, their team members, and even professionals individually, right? Like you've mentioned it all. AI has come to stay, and it's going to create jobs and it's also going to take some jobs. And it's now left for us to think creatively on how we can, turn our resources and make it resourceful enough for it to feed us and move us from wherever we are to the next level. And just driving into the next point, I'm still talking about what AI can do for us, yeah, we've shed a little bit of light on that, but now for the benefit of those who are actually working currently or maybe looking to transition right in the future, because we know that technology has really given has really exposed us to, moving more than in just 1, 2, 3 jobs. We have people who juggle 4 jobs, who juggle 5 jobs. Kudos to all of them. But how are we going to balance all of these things between soft skills and the technical skills? We have lots of professionals who are asking these questions. How are they going to balance soft skills, technical skills, and even the human expertise, right? And know that, oh, this is how you can separate, this is how it can be effective for us, this is how practical this information you're receiving is going to be helpful for you and put you in the right track in whatever you're doing.
Okay, so I don't know. Let me try to explain it. I try to explain things through models or through
Okay.
templates, you understand, so that it helps me in my thinking. So there's something I call things that will never change and things that can change. There's some things that will never change, no matter how, as long as we're human beings. My age will never come down. My age will keep going up as long as I'm alive. That will not change. I will not decrease in years. I will only increase in days. That will never change.
Yeah.
I listen to me. Good.
Yeah.
So things I love, gravity will never change. So that things that will never change. So in my opinion, the soft skills that you need for success not would not will not only not change, it will be extremely needed. So things like resilience, the ability not to give up, you understand, or to bounce back, all those things will not change. You understand? Your adaptability will not change. Your ability to pivot, you understand, the ability to make uncomfortable decisions, your grit will not change. All those things are necessary. You understand? So your emotional intelligence will not change. Your ability to have human relationship will not change. One day, if you see my podcast, one day I talked about pivoting, you understand, the hybrid work. And I told them during my podcast, I said, if you look at human beings, you can look at how we have lived over time. You will see what have never changed. So in the time when we're doing social distancing, I said human beings are social animals. We thrive on relationship. That human beings cannot survive on social distancing.
Without communicating with themselves.
Not just communicating, without coming together, without bonding.
Yeah.
I said, no, that's not how humans were created. Humans were created because we're social animals, we're relational beings. In fact, in that podcast, I remember the story of one Emperor Ferdinand in the Roman Empire. He said he was trying to look for the universal language of man. So in different places around the whole empire, he brought all the children together, and he wanted them to grow so that he will know all this. If they can say one, if all of them can say one thing, they know that that's the universal language of man.
Mm.
You know what happened to the children? 90 of them,
Wow.
they all died.
Oh.
Human beings are relational beings. So when the social distancing was on and on and on and on, I said there'll be a time that we'll come back together. I will not come back together. Even before COVID ended, people gave up on.
Now we give up on it. Yeah, we gave up on it.
Hybrid work was also good. You understand? People felt that, oh, it worked. And I said, but human beings are relational beings. Now, even tech companies are bringing their staff back to the office. You know why? They need to connect. Relationship, the ability to manage relationship, the ability to get capital, value out of relationship would always be a skill that will never leave human beings.
Thank you for that.
Understand?
Like
So
you mentioned,
those then the technical skills will now become, you understand, for instance, with generative AI, you understand, there's something called prompt engineering, your ability to write, to command, to
send
make a
prompts.
command to so it's that the what do you call it, be able to give to you. That would, I mean, it's a skill that a technical skill that will come out when we need. Now, those technical skills will come out in different industries, you understand, because different industries will have different ways in which they're going to integrate AI and use it and create value out of it. So that's my opinion. So some of them will be technical, some of them would be technological, some of them will be humanistic, you understand. Like a friend of mine is trying to create on the fact that with your blood, you understand, with your blood and your computer and your phone, you'll be able to determine if you have malaria.
Hmm.
You understand? And if you can
That would be
determine that
smart.
very soon, I'm sure they'll, yeah, very soon you'll be able to determine anything. So
Man, the future is here. The future is now, and we are trying our best and making our plans to also be a part of it and not be left behind. Because I think the biggest blow we sometimes have is meeting the future when it has already gone forward, right? And we're like, oh, we're running after it. Why not we join the train and let's be able to be ahead of it so that we know what is going on. And thank you for also giving those insights, because yes, like you said, some things can never change, and some processes can never change. Human connections can never change. Though the hybrid workspace or the hybrid space is still very effective, though, for some people who still enjoy, working from home and sometimes being at the office because of the whole movement and distance, and the hybrid space at least still saves the companies some funds from what do you call it, maybe paying for a full workspace and bringing up everybody, but still the human connections, we cannot take that away. So like I always say, while you're listening to this podcast, please, if you have any question, please feel free to send them to my comment box or send them to the DM, or send them to my DM, and I'm going to respond to them, or I'll read it out here to our guest. So I just got a question here, particularly talking about particularly to leaders, right? Says, although you've spoken about empathy, but the question here says, how can business leaders integrate empathy and creativity into a tech heavy work environment?
so it depends on the context in which for instance, I mean, you know, I have a friend who's a programmer with JP Morgan,
Okay.
you understand? And so he likes to work at different times. The times he's tired, he just wants to go and lie down and sleep. And so empathy, we realize that someone will be thinking about the job, I probably needs a timeout so that his ability to produce will be
Yeah.
increased. You understand? So you have to understand people, and you have to understand that people are really different. You understand? And at times, I always tell people that you treat people differently to treat them the same. Do you understand what I
How
said?
do you mean? How do you
You
mean?
treat people differently to treat them the same. So, for instance, at times you don't treat you don't treat a top performer the way you treat a non-top performer.
That's right.
And you have to treat them differently. Otherwise, you will lose the top performer.
Yeah.
You understand? So your ability to understand people, your ability to understand how someone is producing on an environment that allows someone produce extremely well is very
Okay.
important. You understand? So if somebody, for instance, I mean, you talk about the hybrid model, and somebody comes and says, you know what, allow me to work 3 days in a week or 4 days in a week at home, and I'll produce the same result for you. So now the question is, what are you focused on? Are you focused on results, or are you focused on the fact that you want the person to mark time in the office? So if you're
Mm.
focused on results, then you probably would allow, okay, you know what, let me allow you to do that. Because the person will just want to take a walk, and at that time, as he's taking a walk, his ability to
Think and
contemplate answers, yes, comes into play, and is able to do the work better. So you create, in fact, Google used to do something in the offices. They create a place where people can move and sleep. Then in office hours, you understand? I mean, many office hours will send you a query for sleeping in the office. Well, Google created a place where their staff can sleep if they want to take a rest and nap. You understand? Then the office hours. You understand? So that's how you have to be empathetic to people. You have to understand. Then you have to understand that human beings are not robots. You understand? I mean, somebody comes to the office, is always happy, or when they come sad, or he's not happy, he's not smiling, he's not saying anything. You got to
yeah.
figure out why he's not doing that. Something may have changed. You understand? And many times people don't care about anything as long as if you don't care for them. If they feel that you don't care for them, if they feel that they're just one of the numbers, they will give you their hands, they will not give you their hearts. And there's a difference
Yeah.
when someone gives you his hands and when someone gives you his heart. When someone gives you his heart, he doesn't doesn't work according to the time. When someone gives you his hands, 9 to 5, 5 o'clock, 5:01 is off. When someone's work according to his heart, 12 o'clock, he wakes up in the night to say, oh, how do I find a solution to this complex thing? Yeah, it goes far beyond the work requirement. So you have to navigate that, you understand. Especially I know, HR will come and say that, oh, this is company policies. But you've got to navigate that. So in tech everyone, I'm telling you how some of the the Alphabet is one of the top companies in the world in tech everything. So you understand, they demand a lot from their staff, but they also have to create environments in which their staff. Even sometimes people create an environment where people can go and gym during the office hours, just to change their mindset, or just to change to break their pattern, so that they can come back and think very well. So empathetic leaders look at it and say, how would my people create better? How would they get? What kind of environment gets them better results or better productivity? So you have got to be empathetic about it. You understand? I mean, if we take for instance now, fuel and energy issues in Nigeria means that people will spend huge amount of money just to get fuel or just to get electricity.
Power.
You understand? Empathetic leaders have to ask them, how can I help you solve this out? You understand? And when people know that you care, you understand, then they will also care.
That's true. And your conversation drives us to our last point, talking about psychological traits and growth process, right? And
what?
That's psychological traits. Yeah, human emotions. Where you're self-aware, where you can easily get yourself on board. For the benefit of those who are just maybe coming in contact with this for the first time, I'd like you to explain to us what are those psychological traits you can think of, and why are they effective for the future of work?
Okay, so many years ago, I studied. I did the MBTI. Is it John Chen Freudian philosophy? You understand? And the truth about human beings is that we're just philosophical and psychological beings.
Yeah.
You understand? And like I said, I like to use templates to make my points. You understand? So take an example. There's this guy that used to play for Chelsea, Fernando Torres. He used to play for Chelsea. He used to play for Liverpool. Chelsea bought him, and he never was able to replicate the form he had. So they asked him a question. So it's the psychologist that looked at it. He said something just tweaked in him, and he lost the ability to do what he was doing. So in the future of work, you have to realize that everybody is a human being, and that you're going to ask them, how are you? What are the philosophical things they're going through, and how can you be helpful? And creating, like I said, both philosophical needs, you understand, and was Abraham Maslow talk about the philosophical needs. I said, if the philosophical needs are not even met, you understand, we cannot even do other things. And I also think that those things are still as real as when Abraham Maslow postulated those things many years ago. You understand? Because in environments in which philosophical needs, the basic needs of human beings are still there, their productivities are low.
Yeah.
You understand? They're not able to produce. They're not high producers. So you've got to ask how we must. And although we're not a daycare center, the organization are not daycare centers to take care of.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Oh my. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was scared when I saw that I was offline. Okay.
Oh, okay. All
okay.
Right.
So yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Perfect.
Yes. So that's what I think. That's what I think. And so I maybe we should just look at it and say, this is how I think leaders should think about. Like I said, leadership is about people. It's about people. It's about people. It's about people. The difference in organization is the people that are in there. It's not the structures. It's never the strategy. It's the people. It's the people that will do the job. It's the people. You understand? You can change the leaders. If the people, if you don't change the mindset of the people, you won't still get the same result that you want. It's the people. So we must create philosophical conditions in which human beings can thrive. And I think that the earth teaches us that there are conditions in which humans thrive. For instance, on the earth is just enough for a human being to thrive. If you take a man to the moon, you probably have to give him some outer clothing to be able to walk and survive. You understand? Now that's what, because the earth is, so there are conditions that in which human beings thrive. And part of those conditions are what I think leaders should figure out and ensure that they put in place so that people can thrive. Let me give you a good example. I think the social system in Nigeria will become unbalanced very soon.
Why?
Because because energy has become very expensive, quality education has become very expensive. And if you're not careful, to leave poverty to enter into a place where you are free. I mean, a lot of us went to public schools, but many
Yeah,
people like us will now not take our children to public schools any longer.
of course.
I listen to me, not as so. If the quality of public schools are degenerated, then what will be the quality of products that those schools will bring out?
Mm.
Then you don't have a circle of poverty. So
Mm.
you have to create physiological, you have to create environments in which people
But,
can
but,
thrive.
but don't but, don't- but
And I
don't you
think
think
that's
that
sort
will
of
cause for a
leadership.
shift? But don't you think that will cause for a shift? Maybe like a shift from formal education to informal education, where you can always learn like beyond just carrying the certificate. Not hating on any degree. It's actually amazing to go to school. I by the grace of God, I was opportunity to finish mine, but having that shift, because just maybe focusing on this conversation a little bit personally, while I was in school, I had this time when I used to juggle between business and school, and you find some people low-key just laugh at what you're doing, and you're like, this is not where I want to be. This is not where I need to be right now. You like seeing yourself in that kind of space, right? But you get to understand that when you're done from the four walls of the university or from the school, you're coming in to meet a very big society that you were never prepared for, and you're like, what am I going to do next? Where am I going to go? How am I going to do this? Don't you think that will cause for it shifts to some other direction?
So let's agree to AI will cause a great shift, you understand, and the mindset, and so there'll be mindset shifts, you understand. The shift, AI is going to cause a lot of shift in the. For you to win, you have to shift reskilling and upskilling in AI. So let's do that. Now, you said something very, very imperative that about formal education. I think it was the one that said um, formal education will give you a job, informal education will give you a fortune. That's what Jim Rohn said. You understand? And I've not been able to beat what he has said. And the truth also is that maybe the degree that you got to the university is not as important as maybe like 25 years ago. It's not as powerful as 25 years ago, which is also true. Then it's also true that as long as you can read and write, you have access to a lot of things. Like for instance, now by looking at you, by having this system, I can have access to the top thinkers in the world, the Nobel laureates, the Harvard Business School teachers.
Yeah.
So I went to the Obafemi University my um, for my MBA. But when I left MBA, you understand, I would look at all the people, all the courses that they taught us in Obafemi University. I'll look for all the teachers in Harvard or in Yale. I'll look for the books that they wrote. I'll read their books.
Mm.
In my opinion, I have the same information, the same knowledge, the same skill with the people that they also taught. Because everything that they taught, everything that they know, they put down in the
It's in
book.
that book. Yes.
They put the hard books. So I bought their books. You understand? All of them, I bought their books. So I like what do you call him? The guy that wrote the Five Forces. I'm trying to remember his name now. I mean, it's the same thing you would see them in Harvard. That he said here, or the guy who wrote Clay Christensen that talked about innovation. You understand? It's the same thing with them. He wrote in the book. So there's no difference between the information that the guy who went to Harvard has. That's what technology has done. So I agree with that. But the basic access, the ability to even access it, the ability to access the internet, the ability to access power, the ability to access 24/7 power. If it's not there, what would they do? Would this even buy $100 what they call it, $100 smart tab? $100 tab is probably 170,000 naira. You understand? And the average person in Nigeria doesn't have 170,000 to buy anything. The average person, maybe like 50% of the people don't have that kind of money to buy. So that's why I said, for me, my opinion, that's a huge, huge thing. But like when I was growing up, there was no influencer. But there are now
Everybody
influencers.
hustle their stuff.
You understand? Everybody hustle their stuff, but now they're influencers. So
Yeah.
there will be different things that will still come up. You understand that people
Yeah.
might still figure out how to do things. You understand? But we'll leave to see them and see whether we're just there. But the best thing for people is to be prepared for a future. You understand that? Like Peter Drucker said, he said the best way to create a future, the best way to prepare for the future is to create it. You understand?
Yeah.
And ask yourself, how do I want to thrive? Because I think that a lot of people have the mindset of survival. So the next thing we should be thinking about, how do I thrive in an AI world? You understand? What are the skills I need to thrive? So let me look at the fact that data analysis is going to be huge, because data is the next gold. It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. You know what I mean by huge? I mean huge. You understand? I feel that the election in the United States recently was won by data, but data analysis won it. It wasn't. It wasn't.
Yeah.
People just knew what some people were thinking about, and they could figure it out. You understand?
Yeah.
So that creativity of using data, you may have $1 billion like Kamala Harris had, and didn't know what to do with data. You understand? So it's not the resources that you have, the ability to turn it into resourcefulness. You understand? Like I told you earlier on.
Yeah.
And somebody would look at it and say, you know what data can we get? What insight can we get from this data that people are doing this? When you now look at it and you figure it out and you tailor your products to what they want, you understand? It will be massive. That's why it's all about the creativity, it's all about strategy, about human to be able to feel people, be able to touch people. People want to know that you care. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That's leadership. You understand? I mean, if people know you care for them, they will go. They will follow you blindly because they know you care for them.
And you lead them right.
So, and you lead them right. You understand? So, because they feel that everybody needs for themselves. So when they see, though, this one cares for me, and they will go the whole lot for you. So just like I said, creativity, skills, the creative industries will do extremely well. The creative, in any case, even in Nigeria now, you could see that the creative industries is the one that's taking a lot of people out of poverty. You understand? I mean, the creative industry will do probably well. Entertainment will do extremely well. You know, people will still always, and like I always tell people, I was saying some things will change, some things will never change. As long as we're human beings, people will still drink alcohol.
Of course.
As long as people will still drink alcohol, they will still drink alcohol. You understand? And once they drink alcohol, they will have shisha problems. You understand? They will have problems with their liver. So there are some things that will never change.
And they'll always have to look for a doctor.
They will always have to look for a doctor. You understand? So then I was telling someone, I said, as long as we're humans, we'd eat.
We can, of course. You understand? Of course, we can never stop.
So we can never stop eating. You understand? But the question now will be, what kind of food are we going to? What kind of meals are we going to be creating in the world?
Yeah.
Now, you have to also figure out creatively that even now you've seen that our culture actually won. You understand? So you go to parties now, you see people serving native food In those days, I mean, when I started going to parties, the only thing they would serve is rice
Fried stuff.
and fried stuff. But
Continue.
now they will serve
Yeah.
and they will give the opportunity to wash your hands in the parties. Even recently, they even said, I don't know if I should say this, you know, that they will give you gari and fish to eat in parties. The local culture wants. So that's the
Yeah.
things will not change. There's some things will not change, but
Yeah.
there's some things that will change. So the creative things that will change, you understand? Now,
Yeah.
the things also change. Let me also say this because is that we have come into a global world. The internet has opened up the market. You understand?
Yeah.
You can compete with anybody, anywhere in the world.
In
I
the
told him my
walls.
son was playing the game. I was playing the game with some people in Canada, some people in America. It's like, he wasn't playing with anybody in Nigeria, a 10-year-old boy, and he was going to win. You understand? So he tells him that, look, you can win the next game by. So,
You can
so
be
I
anywhere
mean,
and win. And win
you
something
can be
big.
anywhere and win.
Yeah.
That's true,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's good for your listeners to know.
Of course. Talking about having more human touch, more human connection. It's like 110% if possible. We'll have to add the 10 on top of it because when you have to go out, like you've mentioned, you've go out and you find people all fingering their phones, and I'm like, why did you all come out? Is it to finger your phone or to associate? And when you have to get back to work, you complain of fatigue, you complain of tiredness, but realize that the only time you had to free up your mind, which you probably would have done so, and then get your eyes off technology, was when you had to step out and then forget about work, right? But over time, that is why companies are also trying to see how they can cover up that space where maybe if you had to spend so much time at your free time where you're supposed to be resting and take your eyes off gadgets, you now have to now use these times, extra time to get into work and have that free time where some companies have maybe a space to sit, a space to interact, a space to go out and hang out and the rest and team bonding and meetings. But yeah, thank you very much for all the insight and enlightenment you shared. Right. But before we wrap up, we just had one more question from our audience, right? And I would have said let's hold back on this, but this is very, very important question. So the question here says, what mental barriers have you observed in professionals aiming for growth, and how can they overcome them? Because I think that is something that is beginning to grow so much. Maybe I might mention one, ability not to be able to communicate. I don't know, but yeah, maybe you'd like to give some response to that.
You know, the main thing I feel that the game we play in life is a mental game, and many times we lose the mental battles before we lose the real battles.
How do
But
you
for
mean?
professionals, I think that one of the things that really it's a problem for many people. I was just thinking about it now. Is their past victories become a stumbling block to their future successes?
Hmm.
You understand? And many times they're not able to dissociate themselves from the results that they have. For instance, if I do something and it doesn't work, I have not failed. It was a process that did not work.
Okay.
So Thomas Edison, the famous entrepreneur, when they asked
Yeah.
him how many times did he fail, he said, "I never failed once in life." What happened to him? He said, "I learned 9,999 ways in which the electric
So,
bulb cannot be created." So that learning process to make sure that, look, you know what, I do not take disappointment personally. I do not take failure as my own. You understand? I can figure out that failure is not because I didn't do well with something. I failed. Maybe I even failed. I mean, sometimes some people failed in their marriages and they now feel that their lives are failures. You understand? No, you have not failed in life. You've only just failed in a situation. That mental block, I say, you know what? I am not the one that failed. It was a situation that failed. I think that is one thing that was also there. Another thing, for instance, the growth mindset also teaches us the fact that people people do not learn. You understand? So everything we must take everything as a learn. We should take everything as feedback. Like, oh, if it works, this process worked, not I worked. You understand? So this
hmm,
process worked. So if this is not working well, then the process that we need to alter. So as long as we
try
alter the
something
processes,
else.
we alter the results. You understand? So the
Yeah.
ability not to equate yourself with the process, so that the results is not you, but the process, the feedback for the results of the process. I think it's one of the greatest things that has altered people the ability to really explode. You understand? So many times when people, I think it was Sinek who spoke about the Wright brothers, the guys that were competing to produce the first aeroplane. When the guy lost the battle, he just gave up, and he was well funded. He was a big he was a big researcher. He just gave up on life. So I've seen people give up on life just because one or two situations did not work out well. Instead of learning that, oh, and standing up, like I said, resilience, the ability to bounce back, the inability to compartmentalize life results. You understand? I say, okay, look what, maybe I failed at a particular point in time, but I've learned how not to do some things, so I'm going to do it in a different way. You understand? Or I've never failed before. I just had learning experiences. You understand? And I've learned how not to do certain things again. Or I never had all the information. If I had the information, better, and I take responsibility.
You do it right.
Yeah. So I think that that's the way to go. You understand? Especially concerning individuals. And another thing for what do you call it, for high achievers, and I told you before, is that I realized I call something the Covey method: clarity, alignment, focus, and execution. Clarity is the C, so Covey, you understand the Covey. I use the Covey method in order to. So clarity, people are also not exactly clear about what they really want. They're fusy about it. You understand? And if you're fusy about it, you understand, about the resource you actually want, then you probably will not be able to get it.
Yeah.
Many times at different forums, I tell people, what do you want? And you'll be surprised that they do not know. Even yesterday, I spoke to someone, I said, what do you want? I do not know. I said, if you don't know, then how would you get it?
But they want something.
They want something. They know what they want something.
Yeah, they know they want something. Yeah.
But so you've got to figure out exactly what you want. You understand? So that mental fusiness, I think, and you know, everything is created twice. You understand? The first mental creation, like Stephen Covey said, the first mental creation, and the second one that you cannot execute. But that first one, if you do not create it in your mind,
firstly,
then you probably you will not be able to get the result out in real life.
But
so, for instance,
I think that is why AI is there to help us create the first layer, and then we can then have access to, you know, do the second layer and the rest. You know. Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, like I told you, there are certain things that are still human. You understand?
Yeah.
AI can tell you different opportunities available, but you must ask yourself, you understand, where does it fit with me, and what do I really want? For instance, AI cannot tell you to choose between two beautiful girls, who to marry. You understand? You've got to make up your mind, and you ask yourself, okay, what do I really want? Do I want someone that affirms me, or someone that challenges me? You understand? There's some people that just want someone, you know what, I've had enough challenges in the office. I don't want someone to come and challenge me at home. So let's just affirm me. So if you that kind of person, you just want affirmation, just when you get home, just okay, you have to get an affirmative wife or affirmative husband. But if you have someone that needs to be challenged, you understand, then you probably get it's just different. So, but like, if you the AI would help you with a lot of personality testing now. I mean, a lot of free personality testing now online, so you can get that. But the mental thing is to think, to be clear about what exactly you want in life, what game do you want to play, where do you want to play. You understand? To be clear about what matters to you most. You understand? I mean, there are times people that are not clear about what really matters to them. To be clear about the priorities of their life. You understand? When I tell people what are your priorities, they tell me 5 things. No, what's the only one thing? Like I always tell people, what's the one thing that if you do, other things become unnecessary or irrelevant? You understand? If you can get that one thing, then you're clear. That mental clarity, I hardly see people get it. People are too fused about life. I hardly see it.
Well, you know, as humans, we learn every day, we grow every day, we connect every day, and that is the essence of us having conversations like this. And we're trusting that our community will also be different, will also be those 1%, right? Because we know that you might not be able to have our information to the entire 100%, but even this 1% of people or humans or professionals or business leaders or entrepreneurs that these informations like this can always go to, and they come back to us to ask for feedback and ask for more conversation and ask for more advice, I believe that we will be able to expand and touch as many lives, as many Nigerians, as many Africans, and as many people globally in the world at large, because we know that everybody's unique to their own space, and we will continue to connect and collaborate with everyone. And I want to say thank you very much, Kayode, for the time you spent. We've successfully spent an hour and 15 minutes into this discussion today. And trust me, I would say that this is eye-opening and this is very, very satisfying, because even if I have to replay this every time I'm going to listen to this again, it's something that you always have to pick out one or two. You always have to pick out points and know where the future of work is going to, and know what you personally as individual need to do. As a leader, what you need to do, you've also been able to share that with us. And even as an entrepreneur, how you can navigate it. And in all, to those who are listening to this, we are not just having these conversations for you to just listen to them and then at the end of the day it ends here. If you have those feedback, those questions, please bring them back. Ask us. We have our guests anytime, any day, always available to respond to you. Kayode is a leadership coach, he's a consultant, and also has very wonderful podcast you can also listen to if you want to learn more things about leadership. And trust me, if you have to keep this day, we'll talk more, and he'll share more experience and we'll share more examples and more stories and more names and more stuff. Yeah, actually, for us to brace up for the future of work. That is the most important thing. But I want to say thank you very much, and also to everyone who's listening and been here with us. This stream is always going to be here. So anytime, visit our YouTube, visit our social media, engage, connect with us. Any question, like I said, you have, my DM is always open. Our email is always active. Our website is also very active. We're doing some amazing stuff in-house. And so always spend time to, come on board and check out what you're doing. So before we wrap up this call, Mr. Kayode, I don't know if you have any last word you'd like to share with us, to leave our listeners thinking about what they need to do for the next 5, 10, 20 years or thereabouts, for the future of work and technology.
Like I always say, if you do not shape the space in which you're going to be playing in the future, you will be taken out of space in the future. So if you want to thrive in the future, you've got to create a future in which not only will you be relevant there, you have to create value, you have to capture value, and also be able to distribute value to the platforms, to large numbers of people. And the way wealth is created has been altered tremendously from the time we were born and even till now. You understand? I've lived a life of over 50 years, and I can tell you that life has really changed. But if the fearsome thing is that the next 10 years will be extremely disruptive. The extreme, most industries that you see at today, you will not see them in the next 10 years. And I can tell you that AI will upend the industries. But I do not want AI to upend you. I want you to take the advantages because it's also a strategic opportunity and it
Yeah,
will open you up to greatness. And I believe that greatness is yours. And I am rooting for your greatness. I believe in your greatness. And I want to see you on the top. God bless you.
thank you very much, Kayode. And we all believe in our listeners' greatness. And before we go, please, we have one tradition here you have to do for us as a way of supporting what we're doing. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube. Subscribe, spread the word, share. We will always be here every Thursday to share you valuable information. Don't worry, we have very amazing plans for the future. For next year, 2025, we'll get to share that with every one of you. But for now, we're going to draw the curtain here and say, we'll see you guys next week, Thursday, with our very wonderful guest, Imawa Michael, who would share some other insights with us. But for today, let's leave you with the conversations on AI and AI skills. And we hope that you'll be able to share in your questions and also get to connect. And let's going to learn and share more at every point in time. Thank you very much, Kayode, for your time. And thank you very much, everybody, for the time spent. So do have a wonderful day. Good have a wonderful evening or morning from wherever you're joining us from. Goodbye.
Bye.